Beneath the marble monuments and polished facades of Washington, D.C., lies a labyrinth of lies, a world where the elite trade secrets like poker chips and wear morality as a costume. This is the story of a journalist who dared to rip off their masks, and the darkness that bled out. It began with a charity gala, a glittering event where senators and CEOs patted themselves on the back for saving the world. But when a relentless journalist, digging into the host's finances, uncovered a ledger, the illusion cracked. The donations weren't funding hospitals, they were funneled into offshore accounts, private militias, and a shadowy network called the Pact. The ledger's codes pointed to a congresswoman who'd built her career on campaign finance reform, a Supreme Court justice's secret drug habit, and a Pentagon general laundering war profits through shell companies. Then came the mansion. Abandoned, decaying, its walls etched with symbols only the initiated understood. Inside, she found tapes, blackmail footage of a senator in a compromising position with a foreign diplomat, photos of a revered pastor at underground parties, and blueprints for rigging elections. But as she filmed, a shadow flickered on the wall behind her. They'd let her find it. Her source, a low-level staffer with a guilty conscience, disappeared days later. His apartment was scrubbed clean, his social media deleted. The police ruled it suicide. She found his body in the morgue, a needle mark hidden between his toes. That's when the text started, *, stop digging. Or you'll join him. *. Her mentor, a Pulitzer-winning icon, begged her to walk away. But when she dug into his past, she uncovered a bombshell. He'd been part of the Pact in the 90s, trading scoops for access. His retirement wasn't voluntary. He'd fled after witnessing a ritual gone wrong. A ritual involving a missing intern. His suicide note? A single line, *, they sacrifice pawns to protect kings. *. A new ally emerged, a defector from the Pact, a tech mogul who'd built their surveillance empire. He gave her evidence, recordings of a senator admitting to selling arms to terrorists, emails linking a media tycoon to a sex trafficking ring disguised as a modeling agency, and a video of a cabinet secretary snorting cocaine off a Bible. But as they plotted, she noticed his nervous glances at his watch. Too late, she realized, he'd implanted a tracker in her phone. They kidnapped her at dawn, dragging her to a black site warehouse. There, she saw faces she recognized, a celebrity chef filming a propaganda cooking show for the regime, progressive activist funneling donations into hit squads. But the truth she unleashed was uglier than she imagined. The Pact wasn't just corrupt, it was a cult. Their rituals weren't metaphors. Leaked footage showed initiation ceremonies involving animal sacrifices and blood oaths. A list of donors included a tech CEO funding human experiments to engineer obedient citizens. Worse, the Pact had engineered a drug epidemic, flooding streets with opioids to keep the masses numb. At a live press conference, she exposed it all, the tapes, the photos, the ledger. The senator she accused laughed, demanding proof, until she played a video of him accepting a briefcase of cash from a warlord. The room erupted. But as cameras rolled, she noticed the smirks. The resignations were theater. The Pact's leader stepped down into a cushy think tank role. The media tycoon retired to a private island. The aftermath was a hollow victory. The journalist's name trended worldwide, but death threats poured in. Her apartment was firebombed. A fan mailed her a dead rat with a note, "You're next." Digging deeper, she found the Pact's true purpose. They weren't just greedy, they were true believers. A manifesto outlined their plan to collapse the economy, frame dissenters, and rebuild society as a feudal empire. Her final discovery? A list of replacements, rising stars in politics, media, and tech, already indoctrinated. The fight wasn't over. It had just begun. The unmasking. In the end, she published everything, not just the Pact's crimes, but her own complicity. How she'd ignored sources' warnings. How she'd craved fame. How she'd worn her own mask, the hero. Washington didn't collapse. The elite simply swapped masks. But the cracks spread. Whistleblowers emerged. Protests erupted. A senator's son leaked his father's journals. A Pact defector blew himself up on live TV, screaming, "They're in your phones. They're in your heads." The journalist vanished, resurfacing years later under a new name, training activists in underground bunkers. Her final message to the world: they'll never stop lying. But we can stop believing. The elite traded scandals for pensions, villains became authors, and the world moved on. The real battle wasn't exposing the lies of others, it was confronting the lies we tell ourselves. Because in a world drowning in performance, the most radical act is to choose truth, not as a weapon, but as a mirror. The masks will always exist. But so do the ones who dare to look beneath them. And sometimes, that's enough to change everything.